Because of their strange beliefs, Sigma empaths frequently believe that no one can ever understand them and that they are not intended for this planet. If society could just learn to accept Sigma empaths for who they are, it could ease their socialization challenge. These 8 factors explain why extremely smart Sigma empaths spend their entire lives alone. 8 very smart Sigma empaths are extremely selective about who they associate with. Because of the rare mix of their intelligence, introspection, and emotional sensitivity, highly intellectual Sigma empaths frequently find themselves alone. These people have a tendency to be very selective about the relationships they establish. Their search for deep, genuine, and thought-provoking connections is what drives them in relationships rather than a need for exclusivity. When it comes to relationships, Sigma empaths value quality over quantity and look for partners who can stimulate their mind, emotions, and spirituality. Their extensive inner worlds, where they explore intricate concepts and intense emotions, are the source of this discernment. Since they are less likely to accept relationships that fall short of their expectations, they do not demonstrate interest in shallow partnerships. Highly intellectual Sigma empaths may struggle to connect with people who share their distinct viewpoints and passions. They may have times when they are alone due to their discriminating nature, but they do not dislike company. Rather, they devote their time and effort to connections that give them the emotional and intellectual support they need. In general, as long as they enjoy each other's company, they don't really care if they live alone. 7. Introverted Sigma empaths are highly intelligent. A majority of Sigma empaths are reserved. Because of the intricate interactions between their personality traits and life events, they end up leading solitary lifestyles. First of all, because they are shy, they need time to themselves and find comfort in alone. Due to their innate tendency toward isolation, they may come across as aloof or distant to others, which may limit their social possibilities. Secondly, they are intelligent enough to detect deceit, which makes it difficult to establish rapport. Although the pool of possible peers may shrink as a result of this selectivity, it is still acceptable to them. Moreover, their capacity for empathy can have drawbacks. They are able to form strong emotional connections with people, but it also implies that they take in and internalize the feelings of those around them. They become more susceptible to emotional overload as a result, and their coping strategy becomes seeking isolation. Moreover, introverted Sigma empaths frequently possess a strong sense of self and purpose. Their pursuit of less traveled roads may be motivated by a search for self-discovery, personal progress, or a higher calling. They may become even more isolated if their activities don't always coincide with the objectives or interests of the majority. Finally, they might pursue specialized fields of study or niche interests as a result of their intellectual curiosity and quest for information. This can make it harder for them to connect with people deeply and meaningfully because they may discover fewer friends who share their enthusiasm for intellectual activities. 6. Highly perceptive Sigma empaths have an obsession with perfection. Relationship formation and maintenance can be severely hampered by perfectionism. Because of their perfectionism, Sigma empaths have very high expectations of both themselves and other people. They are never satisfied with anything less than the best in their relationships, careers, personal growth, and lives. It can be difficult to find people that live up to the standards of Sigma empaths because of their constant search for perfection, which can cause them to become frustrated and disappointed when they think that others don't measure up. Second, the perfectionism of Sigma empaths permeates their own conduct. They might continually strive for self-improvement and be acutely aware of their own shortcomings. They may feel inadequate as a result of this self-criticism and be reluctant to share their weaknesses with others for fear of being discovered. Deep emotional ties may be hampered by their unwillingness to be really honest. Their perfectionism might sometimes cause them to second-guess themselves and make poor decisions. People could overanalyze social settings, fearing they would say the wrong thing or make a mistake. They may get emotionally exhausted by this cognitive load, which discourages them from interacting with others and keeps them alone for the rest of their lives. 5. Extremely smart Sigma empaths are self-sufficient by nature. Highly intellectual Sigma empaths frequently choose to live alone in their lives. Since Sigma empaths are inherently individualistic, they stick out from the crowd. In contrast to more outgoing influences, Sigma empaths cherish their privacy and are inherently independent since they have a voracious appetite for knowledge and are always looking to learn more about the world. Their lives are more solitary or lonely for them. They struggle with this intellectual endeavor because it is difficult to locate others who share the interests of Sigma empaths in their hobbies. They are fortunate enough to possess a sharp mind, which also helps them to be highly independent in doing tasks. Without assistance, Sigma empaths could feel like outsiders trying to fit in with a society that frequently values extroversion and conformity. They may withdraw even more into their own world, where they can completely enjoy their uniqueness and originality if they feel misinterpreted or underappreciated. They may want for understanding and company, but they won't sacrifice who they really are in order to fit in. 4. Empathic exhaustion affects highly intellectual Sigma empaths. A profound and frequently underappreciated struggle, empathic burnout drives highly intelligent Sigma empaths towards seclusion and loneliness. Sigma empaths devote their whole being to supporting people through their emotional challenges. They frequently disregard their own health, taking in the suffering, tension, and emotional upheaval of those around them as if they were a sponge. This buildup of emotional weight eventually becomes too much to handle. Extreme tiredness, increased anxiety, and an overwhelming sense of emotional depletion can all be signs of empathy burnout, which can leave a person both physically and emotionally spent. As a self-preservation mechanism, Sigma empaths naturally seek isolation in the face of empathic exhaustion. They withdraw into their inner world, a haven of comfort and introspection where they can replenish themselves and find emotional equilibrium. This retreat may result in their social isolation, even though it is vital for their mental and emotional well-being. Their need for prolonged periods of seclusion or the depths of their empathic burnout may go unnoticed by friends and family, which can strain relationships and ultimately result in a sense of loneliness. 3. Socially awkward or highly clever Sigma empaths. The feeling of loneliness that clever Sigma empaths have can be exacerbated by social discomfort. These people tend to be more open to deeper dialogues and connections since they have a deep emotional depth and sharp intelligence that distinguishes them from the average person. However, outside of traditional social contexts, this intensity of thought and feeling can be difficult to manage. Small discussion may get boring to them, and they may leave. As a result, others may perceive Sigma empaths as conceited, overly reserved persons who are difficult to spend time with. Nonetheless, these individuals don't bother Sigma empaths because they are aware that they can survive without them. Because they feel as though they are in their own universe and cannot completely appreciate their uniqueness without feeling pressured to conform to social norms. Those who are socially awkward may withdraw into solitude. 2. There are no intellectual peers for highly intelligent Sigma empaths. One of the main reasons that clever Sigma empaths choose to live alone is the lack of intellectual companions and friends who share their interests. It can be difficult to find companions who are as passionate about academic interests as they are, since society tends to value superficial relationships more than in-depth conversations. As a result, those who don't get their standards for choosing companions refer to them as weirdos or nerds. Sigma empaths may have a growing sense of loneliness if they lack intellectual peers with whom they may have meaningful talks. When they experience a lack of intellectual stimulation in their social circles, they may withdraw into silence in order to focus on their studies, introspection, and personal development because they believe that the world is full of people who don't value learning as much as they do. Have you ever struggled to locate friends who understand you, despite their desire for the company of like-minded individuals who share their intellectual intensity? You don't have to push yourself to be with someone, even though it's difficult. 1. Highly perceptive Sigma empaths are afraid of being vulnerable. Sigma empaths frequently develop a skill at hiding their own feelings and hardships out of concern that doing so may result in exploitation or misinterpretation. They may hide their actual selves out of self-preservation, which can make it difficult for them to build genuine, deep bonds. They believe that people should not view their lives as an open book that is so widely shared that others are able to exploit both their strengths and shortcomings. Instead than letting others know them based only on what they have heard, they would rather give the idea that they are mysterious in order to pique people's curiosity about getting to know them better. As a result, people might continue to live alone since they won't have to worry about suffering mental harm or being duped. While highly intelligent Sigma empaths may occasionally feel lonely, their unique qualities also make them valuable and insightful people who can positively impact the world. Despite their desire for genuine connections with others who can appreciate their unique blend of intelligence and empathy, for their general well-being and contentment, striking the correct balance between isolation and deep connections is crucial, but it's acceptable to refrain from pressuring oneself into creating connections if you don't feel like it. Which would you rather be, in a crowd of people or by yourself right now?